So the subject was to develop a relationship in the right ways. So today we're talking about how people influence. I always tell you that it's always that we need to look around. That people around us, they're not here just because, there is a reason why everybody is in your life. And I will tell you how to find people who will help you in that at this particular moment, and who to ask for help in particular fields of your life, particular areas of your life. So we will do that, and I will give you my examples, and then I will answer some questions. Now, I always tell you that people come for a reason. Even people that you don't like, that harm you, that maybe are not doing something good for you, whatever. I mean, there is a reason why those people are in your life. They're teaching you something. You see, our mind doesn't see nobody else but ourselves. So our consciousness as well. So if I will sit just by myself, I would never know how to develop, because there is really very little experience I can have with myself, right? I could not have a fight with myself like I could have with a neighbor, or I couldn't have an absolutely ecstatic relationship like I would have with the man, or I would not have a pleasant kind of lunch like I would have with my friend. So we need people to develop, to see where our weaknesses and strengths are, and then move from there. Now, that's why we need people, but some people help us to develop in particular fields, and I will tell you what those are. For example, my second house is in Leo, so people who have Sun in Leo help me. Good morning, Maria. Help me to find money, not to find money. They show me how to make money, how to spend money. So my relationship with money, I can easily build it, observing people energy, observing people who have Sun in Leo, like this. And I'm going to go through all the houses and everything, and I will tell you what to look for. So what do you need for this life? You need to have your natal chart. And when you build your natal chart, it has to be precise. So you need to know exactly your time of birth, your place of birth, and this way you will be able to build the chart. Now, once you build the chart, you will see the little houses all around. There should be 12 of them. These houses are corresponding for something in your life. Now, the particular areas of your life, and I speak about this often, so you probably know it, but I will go through them. Now, then, once you will build that, you need to find the area that you need to work on at this moment, that you think that you need to work on. So, for example, if you're not in the relationship and you seriously want to have a relationship, if you have difficulties building relationship with man, then you need to observe people who have Sun in your seventh house. Let's say my seventh house is in Capricorn. So Capricorns, people who have Sun in Capricorns, are the ones who will teach me how to build relationship. And like this. So let's go through all of them. And then besides the houses, you also need to observe people who have somewhat planets like yours, like for example, your North Node. Like my North Node is in Taurus, so Tauruses are helping me to develop. But let's not rush into this. Let me go through all of them. So the first house is the house of self. This is how you represent. This is how you are perceived by the society. So my first house is in Cancer. I should observe Cancer Sun. So it is very important. It is very important that you observe people who have the Sun in that particular, not the rising, but the Sun. So, for example, my Sun, even though my rising is in Cancer, my Sun is in Scorpio. So I will influence people who need somebody with Sun in Scorpio. You see, no matter that my moon is in Pisces or my ascendant is in Cancer, my Sun is in Scorpio. Why is it the Sun that we should be looking for? Because Sun is what's outside. This is the representation. Sun makes like when the Sun is shining on us in that moment, we're the brightest. So we're showing exactly what's going on. For example, I can have rising in in Cancer, so I should be all this soft and motherly and this and that. But my Sun is in Cancer, so people see mostly well, not see, but this is how I'm represented as more mysterious and I'm not sure, the more confident, I would say. So again, you're looking at people who have the sun in that particular, and this is actually easy because everybody knows where their sun is. It's hard to find where the rising is. All right, so my first house is in Cancer. I should look for, if I have issues with representing myself, with my style, with how I want to be perceived by others, I should look at Cancer suns. So people who have Cancer sun, and I have quite a few friends who are Cancer sun. So and observe them. So they will help me with developing of my own persona, of my own presentation in the world, so to say. Now, and I will tell you, I really like how these girls, they do represent themselves, their style. I like how they are perceived, how they communicate with others. Now, the second, so the first house is kind of easy because it's the house of individuality. So for the most part, you don't really need somebody else to develop. But if you have issues with that, then find somebody who will. Now, the second house is the house of resources, house of money, your personal resources, your personal money, how you make money, how you spend money. My second house is in Leo, and I will tell you, while I was preparing for this video, I was actually remembering all my signs and all people in my life that were present, and I will tell you, Leos really, really helped me to develop my relationship with money. Leos are usually spenders, and I am a spender, I could say, and I am grateful that they showed me that being a spender is okay. Now, Leos also showed me how to make money. It is funny, but it was a girlfriend of mine who is a Leo who actually told me about being a mentor, about being, about working with people, about sharing my knowledge. It was her. I also knew a couple others. So I have a few men that are Leos that also show me that spending on yourself is not bad, that it's actually harmonious, that you should be preserving the energy for yourself, not for others, that it always returns. You shouldn't be afraid to spend money. So like this. Now see where your second house is. Maybe your second house is in Virgo. Virgos are very practical with money. Maybe this is what you need to do. You see, if you will socialize with people from your second house, you will see they will somehow guide you towards the right way for you to develop in that particular area. You will see. It's always like this. I went through, I think, all my friends, all my boyfriends, all my husbands, everybody that I had for a long time. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. So the third house is the house of your words, your communication, your manifestations, your close relationships like friends, connections. Now, the people from your third house will connect you the most in life, will show you will connect you with all the right people, will introduce you to the right people, will show you the right places that you should be. Like, I will give an example, the brightest example. Well, I have two. So my first best friend since we were in kindergarten is Virgo. My third house is in Virgo. So she always connected me with the right people, with needed people. Even now, they live in different countries, we have different life. But if I need to connect to somebody, I always ask her. And she always finds those people for me. Now, another example is when I moved here to Miami, I was looking for somebody who does some kind of cosmetological procedures and the manicures, pedicures, and I was connected with this girl. And I didn't know she was also from New York, and I didn't know where she lived, but we lived like one building apart. So we were neighbors for the most part. So I went to do my nails with her, this and that, we started talking, and we become friends. I didn't know who she was, but since then on, since that day, that girl, woman, she connected me to everybody. I can tell you that in Miami, for the most part, I know everything and everybody thanks to her. I also can tell you that all my clients from Miami, from New York, are somehow related to her. So not related, but somehow came from her. So she became my client also. I made the candle for her. She attracted the man, and she really believed in what I was doing, and she started talking to others about me, and somehow others start talking. And so she basically created this clients pool for me, even though the clients that I'm getting now are coming from different from my current clients. Those clients came from somebody who somehow came from hers, like this. You see, so the person for your third house is the person who will connect you the most. Find out where your third house is. If you need the right connections, this is the person who will connect you. I will tell you, Virgos also connected me to the right uh, to man that I was dating, seriously dating. So it's somebody who was serious. I will also tell you that my second husband was a Virgo as well. Um, I mean, we're divorced, but when we were on good terms, he connected me to the right people at the right place at that moment. So he also did. I wouldn't disqualify him from that. So observe those people from the third house. They will connect you the most. If you need, like me, for example, if I would be looking for new clients right now, I wouldn't be just searching for anybody. I would find Virgos in my surrounding. I would talk to them. I would kind of try to sell the idea, maybe give them some products, maybe do an energy alignment or something, and then ask them to recommend me to others. This is what I do. Even if you want to expand your business, or if you want others to know about you, talk to people who have sun in your third house. This is important, really. It works like magic. I spoke to so many people because me and Virgos we're not really that well suited, so to say. But I spoke to so many people, but most of the clients came from this girl, and we were friends for a long time. Still are, this and that. Just a little not as close as we used to when we used to be neighbors, but still. So I want to tell you, the third house, the people who are going to connect you the most. If you need the right connections, these are the people in your third house. Find where third house is, and try to find them. Try to make friends with them. They will connect you. It's that important. All right. So this is the third house. The fourth house is the house of home, of family, of your house, of how you kind of relate to your home. What do you feel about your home? And these are the people who will teach you how to build their security and house around you. Now, for me, these are Libras. Funny enough, your father corresponds to your fourth house, and my father was a Libra. But my father passed away early. I didn't have the chance to learn from him, but certain things I learned, but still, but I do have friends who are Libras, and I will tell you, Libras are very, easygoing. But from those friends, from those acquaintances that I did learn things when it comes to security and house, because they're Libras. They usually are not as attached to the places. More, they like to kind of to move around. They are not afraid. Like I have a friend, and she has to move out the next day, and she just starts looking for an apartment. I always was admiring her, because I need to have a plan like 2 months in advance at least. So they taught me not to be so attached to a place of my living, not to be attached to my family, to not to be as dependent on the place of living, on my family, like for the security. So again, there's a fourth house. So find out who the fourth house is, where your fourth house is, and those people will show you how you're supposed to treat security. You see, they will, even if it doesn't correspond to you right now, you will see it will fall in place. Like with those friends of mine, for me it was shocking that they would not think about future like that they would just hope that they will find something right away. It was shocking and very scary, honestly. But right now I understand, what's the worst can happen, so I don't find something, then I will stay in a hotel for a month. So it's not such a big of a deal. It just, in my head there was always like this fear. What if I will not find a place? That the fear held me in the same apartment in New York for, I don't know, 11 years or so, because of that fear that I would not find something that's like this or even better. and it held me here in Miami, also in one apartment for 4 years because of that. And I'm so grateful to these people who showed me that it's not that really important, that it's, the fear is not really justified like that. All right, so this is the fourth house. The fifth house is the house of pleasure, flirting, creation. If you have issues with enjoying yourself, with getting creative, with flirting, look for people in your fifth house. For me, it's Scorpio, and I'm Scorpio sun myself, so I was born to enjoy, to flirt. This is, it's but your sun is which house it is. That's what you were born for. So if your sun is in the fourth house, then you were born to build a family. If in the third, then to communicate, to socialize. So mine is in fifth house, and I will tell you, I don't exactly like Scorpios because I'm Scorpio myself. But the Scorpios that I had in my life, we had amazing time, men, women. We had a lot of fun, and especially men, it was just amazing. As long as it was fun. As soon as it became difficult, it just was not fun any longer. So fifth house is the people who will teach you how to enjoy yourself. So whatever fifth house is in you, for you, find those people. Make sure their sun is in that sign. Find them. They will teach you how to enjoy life, how to flirt, how to create, how to be yourself, how to open that inner child, how to allow your inner child to enjoy life, and the surroundings around you. That's the fifth house. All right. So the sixth house is the house of. Also, the fifth house is house of children. So if you are worried how to be a good mother, find somebody who has the sun in that sign. They will show you how to be good mothers. So, for example, maybe if you have fifth house in, let's say, Sagittarius, and Sagittarius' mothers actually are very, I would say they're good, because they're not very attached to their children, but yet they are on point, so they don't suffocate them, but yet they are always covering for what needs to be covered. So again, if you are not sure how to be a mother, find somebody like that. Find somebody who has sun in your fifth house, and they will show you how to be mothers. You will love, and it will be the most harmonious. So for me, I guess it would be Scorpios. I guess they would show me how to be a good mother. But since I have it in fifth house, I should be good myself, I assume. All right, so the sixth house is the house of the routine, the house of health, house of pets, house of like of tasks. How you like a schedule, how you accomplish your goals. For me, the sixth house is in the Sagittarius, and the Sagittarius is how they are. And to tell you the truth, the Sagittariuses that I knew in my life, I really like Sagittariuses. They really, really, I'm grateful. I never really thought that they teaching me something, but they were. What did I like about them? I like the determination that they have. Sorry. When they want something, they're quite determined to get that. They are not talking about this to everybody. They're like laser focused on something. You see, I'm manager of water, so I'm not always laser focused. That's why I liked socializing with Sagittariuses, because when they want something, they get something. They need to spend resources. They spend resources. They need to be laser focused. They will be laser focused. They need to, because it's health. If they need to change their health, they will change. So I really, really like their approach to the routine, their approach to completing tasks, to be productive. You see, so if you have issues with your health, with you being productive, with you being kind of also, you see, because Sagittarius is so like lovers of freedom, right? I also need to change my routine. I could not be. I could not like. I need periodically to change what I'm doing, to change how my day to day goes. I need to take breaks because of the Sagittarius. So now you might have a sixth house in Capricorn. Capricorns are very dedicated. So you might see that Capricorns, once they sit on some kind of project, they just They just do it, and and they don't need any breaks. They can be doing the same thing for years and years, and this would be for you again. Or maybe you have sixth house in Gemini. Gemini, they maybe accomplish things through communicating to others. They have a goal. Instead of them going to library and researching how to get this, they socialize. They will ask this and a couple of people. They will do some kind of webinars. This would be your approach to the routine that you have in life. Now, this is the sixth house. The seventh house is the house of relationships, serious relationships. So this is your partnership house. And let me tell you something. My partnership house is in the Capricorn, and I always admired how Capricorns are dedicated to their relationships. I am not. So, I first of all, you should look for a man whose sun is in that house. So for me, it would be Capricorn man. Always admired them, always. If they had a relationship with them, was couple, I did, not the easiest ones. But me, I'm emotional, I slam the doors fast, then I kind of rebound, this and that, Capricorns are not like this. They're very dedicated to whatever they're building, like Kate Middleton, she's a Capricorn, right? So she wanted to, well, I guess she loved the prince, she waited for him, and she was determined to get, she was not here and there, she was not emotional, she was not doing silly things, she was just dedicated to the relationship that she wanted to. No, I need a Capricorn man. And this is, that's basically how I should be building the relationship. I should be dedicated to the relationship and not react on every little thing that doesn't fit me. Like you are supposed to build the relationship, not snap at every on every little thing. So for me, it's Capricorns who will show, and I have I had a couple of friends, a couple of acquaintances. Well, not friends, acquaintances more like, because Capricorns, they're not friendly that much. And they were all, I really, really admired how they, it's like once they marry forever. They stand by the partner. It's like, they were just, they never change. The partner can cheat, can do whatever, and they still would hold on to them. So what I want to say is that for me, it was an eye opener. I will never become a partner like a Capricorn, but I think I can learn a lot. I can, and I did, honestly, since I started the kind of understanding that my model of relationship should be based on a Capricorn. I started being more patient, not rushed into a relationship, taking my time, building something instead of just having good time and moving on and snapping on every little thing. So you see, find where the seventh house is for you. For me, it's Capricorn. For you, it might be Pisces. Then you need to build your relationship around emotions, around being deep with the other person. Getting into their soul, understanding them. Or maybe your seventh house will be in Aries. Then you would need to be making moves, because Aries is about actions. It's a masculine planet, so you would need to maybe not be afraid to make the first step yourself, to kind of to initiate certain things, or maybe your seventh house is in Scorpio. Then it would be okay to be a little mysterious, a little spicy, not be afraid to experiment in intimacy and not be shy to do that. Or and build the relationship around that. Scorpio is not deep like that, so maybe this is what you build relationship around. Not consistency like me with Capricorn, but maybe it would be around intimacy. Or maybe your relationship house is in Cancer, like opposite to mine. Then you need to build your relationship around emotions, but not deep emotions like with Pisces, but more about caring for the other person. Like maybe learn how to cook and just to surprise the other person with you caring for them. You showing almost, I wouldn't say motherly love, but somewhat like caring love like this. So again, find the person, find people with the sun in your seventh house. They will teach you how to build a relationship. I always thought that Capricorns are too much when it comes to relationship, but it makes sense. I will never be like them, but it makes sense for me. As an emotional person, sometimes it's good to step back, reevaluate everything, and move forward. Instead of like having this kind of emotional overflow every single day. So, all right, this is the seventh house. The eighth house is the house of shared resources, of resources that come not exactly from your actions, but somehow else. And for me, it's Aquarius. And this is so funny because it's always Aquariuses who gave me ideas for some kind of investments. The first Aquarius in my life was my grandfather. And he didn't exactly taught me how to know because I was little. And then when I became a little older, I moved to the United States. So it's not like he had time to teach me really. But he always told me to kind of to save money for something bigger. So that was the first one. It's not that serious. There was a guy here in Miami. He was not really anybody. He really wanted something else with me, but it didn't happen. It was not my type, so it didn't happen. But he was a cool guy. I like Aquariuses because they think outside the box, very much outside the box. Sometimes I look at them like, and he was the one who actually told me to well, he was not the one who told me about the YouTube, but he was the one who told me about the courses. He said that you need to do the courses, this way you can reach out more people. About the YouTube, another Aquarius told me that I need to do a YouTube channel because it would be better. I would speak to more people and I would be able to get the clients. Now, again, you see, I would be doing actions that would bring me results later on. Now, did I get the results? Yes, I did get some clients here and there, so I don't mind. The courses as well, I sold, I don't know, some people sell for $2 million. I didn't, but still, I did. The idea was there, so it was the money that are not coming from exactly my actions, but from it's like an investment that I did, and then I continue earning some money again and again and again. You see, so it was always Aquarius. Aquarius is always the ones who show me how to make money, not doing anything. The Aquarius also was in my previous career the guy that got me into investment. So I was already working in financial sector, and he was the one who got me hooked on investments. I already had licenses, but I wasn't really buying it. And so he was Aquarius, and he was my boss. He was working, he in investments, and he actually put me down one day, and he explained to me. He showed me how the interest compounds, how in a few years doing nothing with the same amount of money, I can really bank on a large sum. How money growing without you doing anything, and this is how I got hooked on investments, honestly, and I started investing myself. So again, people from your eighth house will show you how to make money passively, or how to get money from somewhere, because eighth house is not only about the money. It's about your resources that you share, that you get, sometimes deep magic, some kind of connection to the deeper worlds. This is all from them. So you might get some kind of mentor who will really bring you to a different level if you are interested in that, of working with energy. Again, two of my masters, Reiki masters, were Aquariuses as well. So these are people who will bring you to something bigger in your life, something that you don't know but you need to trust in. So like this. Again, for you, maybe you will have eighth house in Leo. So Leo will give you the ideas of how to make extra cash, how to invest something. Observe that those people are useful. They will say something, they will just blurt it out. Like with me, every single time it started as something random, and it grew into something big. Those words meant something. Like I remember this guy who told me about YouTube. He said YouTube is a gold mine, you should do YouTube. And I was like, no. I was laughing. We had lunch at that time, but those words stuck with me, and I was thinking about this. So I was like, yeah, I could put all my knowledge there, then I can just send videos. It kind of grew on me. And the same with the course. It took me, I think, 2 years to record the course, but again the words stuck, and those words were useful. So people from your eighth house, observe what they say. Do not just discharge anything. For me, when he said about the course, for me it was like he would told me grow dragons in your house. Like absolutely, I didn't know where to start, how to do it, how do people do it. Is it even going to be, what are the platforms, like I didn't know nothing, but the words stuck. So if you have somebody from the eighth house, listen to what they say when it relates to the eighth house. It would be useful. It will serve you somehow. So this is the eighth house. Again, if you're working with, if you need money, it's people from the second and eighth house. If you need relationship, then people from the first and the seventh house. Fifth house if you don't know how to flirt. If you need help with career, then it's the 10th house, but we'll get to that. So ninth house is the house of traveling, of knowledge, of learning something new. If you are afraid to travel, for example, find somebody who has sun in that in your ninth house. They will help you to travel. My sister is Pisces, and she is the person with whom I travel the most, I think, because she's Pisces sun. So she was maybe the one who kind of got me into traveling. You see, people. I also have a very good friend who is Pisces. Her husband is Pisces. Again, those people are also traveling a lot, and I like that style of traveling. They go for like 3 weeks and they travel through a lot of countries. They take a car, and they drive around, which is very interesting. It's, you cover a lot of places at once. You could not do it all the time, but sometimes it's very much my style of traveling when I travel, when I want to see a lot of places. So again, if you don't know where to start when traveling, find a person who has sun in your ninth house. They will show you. Observe them. They travel, like for example, if you have ninth house in Taurus, you probably will be traveling in luxury. You probably will be going to all-inclusive resorts, staying there in the best possible room with all the food and drinks included, because Tauruses, they like to travel in style. They like to be comfortable even when they're traveling. They are not going to be backpacking through Asia. They're going to travel good. They're going to stay in nice places, and this is what will be harmonious to you. Or for example, if you are let's say you traveling, your ninth house is in Cancer. Cancers are usually very motherly. They like to care for others. They like to go with the group. They don't travel usually by themselves. So this would be your style. Maybe it would be good for you to travel with friends or relatives or somebody with your own family. Observe those people. Now, ninth house also corresponds to your knowledge, to how you seek knowledge. Like, are you open to new knowledge? They will also show you, like, for example, I like history a lot. The first teacher of history was, I think, was Pisces. I'm pretty sure, from what and I remember he wouldn't just give facts. He was telling us stories. And the more he was telling, the more I was getting in and in. I love history because of him. So again, you see, because of how he was giving us history and the facts, how he was combining all this in particular stories, yeah, I grew interested in it. Maybe if my biology teacher would be Pisces, I would love biology. But since she was not, I never really could grow into loving biology or anything, yeah, some other subject. You see, so these people will show you how to gain knowledge. Also observe that if that is your difficulty. If you don't know how to study, if you don't know what is the best way to study, observe people from the ninth house. All right, so the next one is the house of career, status, the 10th house. These people will teach you how to build a career, how to get ahead of others, how to create a status. And I will tell you, for me, it's Aries, and I don't like Aries people. I mean, no offense to anybody, but we just clash. But I will tell you, when I was working, when I was building my career, I wouldn't say that I hated them the most, but I just, like, I was just shocked with them, like I couldn't understand that they could be so selfish. Unknowingly, I did never realize that they were teaching me what I should have done, you see. I was always such a people's pleaser, a team player, always trying to please everybody, not making anybody happy. Everybody was always upset because not done enough, and only when I became like them, only then I started moving really much faster, and my life became more balanced. You see, they were teaching me, but me, in my kind of blind prejudice, refused to see what I wanted. My first, when I was living here in Florida, long before when I first came, and I was manager at Payless Shoes, my district manager was Eris. I know it very well because with her I grew much. Like, I became really independent, And she would always say that she doesn't answer her phone, so people could learn how to be independent and make decisions themselves. I was very successful as her, manager of 2 stores. I was very young too. Thanks to her, I opened my business shortly after because she built that confidence in me. And then in my next career in New York, I was again. I had this. I wouldn't say I had bosses, but I had colleagues who were showing me how to be. And if only I would be open-minded, my progress would be much faster. Funny thing is that as soon as I learned that, they all disappeared from my life somehow. So find who is that person in the 10th house. Those people will show you, or that person will show you how to build your career, how to gain the status. Status, I'm not only talking about your professional status, also could be your marriage, right? The 7th house is about the relationship, but the 10th house is about status. So learn how they kind of how they approach this subject. Like, for example, I had an employee. She was Aries, and I remember she was very young. She still was in college, but she already had a 2-year-old son, and she was married to this guy. And I loved how her marriage was not defining her. Like, they lived mostly like just 2 parents raising up a kid, so to say. She loved him. He, I'm sure, loved her, but she was not like dissolving in him. So you see, like, she approached marriage more like a thing to do, like something to be done, not like something romantic, something, oh my god, I'm dreaming about this big dress now. But again, for me, it's Aries. For you, it might be Cancer. Then you will want to have a big dress, you will want to have a wedding. Or Libra, then you will want to connect a lot of people. You will want to have you wouldn't want to have just a wife. You would want to have a wife who is a friend, who has a lot of friends, so to connect to your friends, like this. Again, it's about status. What is your status? Or, for example, if your 10th house is in Capricorn, then you wouldn't marry somebody who is just blah. You would marry somebody from a who is higher than you on a social standing, or somebody who is like you. You would not just end up for somebody who's nobody. Or if you have 10th house in Leo, you will be aiming for somebody who's famous. And this is what it is. So, all right, this is the 10th house. For me, it's mostly was the career, because it was important. I was never really looking for a particular status, but career was important. So if you have issues with your career, you don't know how to move on, how to build, how to act right, observe people whose sun is in your 10th house. They will show you. You will see. They will show you. Just do not judge them. Observe and act like them. Now, the 11th house is the house of your social representation, of your social position, of your reputation in society. For me, it's Tauruses. And I always loved how Tauruses are loved by others. I have this friend. We were friends for many, many years. And I also admired how he's so loved by others. And you would think that he's a people's pleaser. No, he's actually very confident, very strong in his confidence. If somebody will push too far, he will really answer. I mean, he is not a people's pleaser, but everybody loves him. He even always says this, everybody loves me. Because they do, really, because he's so like, he's not afraid to speak, he's not afraid to push back, but yet he's not looking for any kind of arguments, maybe too lazy for that. Always well presented, so people do love, because good manners, good. So I always loved how Tauruses present themselves in the society. They always have good reputations for the most part, and I always admired them for that. For me, these are the people who show me how I should act when it comes to public, and unknowingly, I actually was always repeating, because I started speaking like him. I would always say, "Oh, everybody loves me too," and it started early. It started when I was in university still, and I had this my friend. She was Taurus, and she was very liked because she was very strong inside. Taurus is delicate. Like, so. Anyways, this is for me. For you, it might be somebody else. Maybe for you, it's Gemini, and Geminis are very social. They're people pleasers a little bit. Well, Libras, I would say, but still, but they communicate. It's social butterflies. Maybe this is what you would admire, and that would be good for you. Again, this is your reputation. How people see you, like the public see you, the crowd, not the closest people, but the society around you. So again, find the people who have sun in this particular sign. All right, and the 12th house. The 12th house is your psychic. This is the depth. For me, it's in it's in Gemini, and yeah, I mean, me and Gemini is almost like me and Aquarius. But I like Geminis because they show not to take everything too serious. I'm a little thank you. I'm a little watery, so I can get emotional. I could get too deep into my emotions, and Geminis are the ones who I'm grateful to them because they show that it's not that serious all the time. So 12th house, like a first house, it's more about myself. But if you observe those people, you will understand. You will see how you will find better ways to understand yourself. All right, I hope I make sense. Now, also pay attention to people who have sun in your North Node, where your North Node is. For me, these are Tauruses too. My North Node is in Taurus, so I'm looking for security. Now, if you need to know what your North Node means, then you can watch my video I have about this previous. If you want, I will send it to you. But those people will teach you how to get it. You remember, your North Node is where you move in. This is your path to your development. We all have to move towards our North Node. So for me, it's a security that I'm building myself. I do not depend on others for that security. So Tauruses are helping me to, I have a lot of Tauruses in my life. I do, I have a couple of clients who are Tauruses. I have Taurus Sun. I mean, I have like quite a few friends who are Taurus Sun. I have, I really do have a lot of people like this. I had managers who are Taurus Sun. And why I have so many of them, because they're helping me to develop what needs to be developed. You see, I observe them. I see how confident they are. I see how they stash in money all the time. I see how they always find a way to make money. And I feel, I can do that too. I feel confident. You see, I build security. Now, if your North Node is in Cancer, for example, then you need to build relationship. You need to learn how to build relationship on a deep level, on an emotional level, not just because it's convenient for both of you. And so the Cancers will show you how to do that. Or if you have North Node in let's say in Sagittarius, then you will need to learn how to be free and independent, how to pursue your dreams without looking behind. Am I offending somebody or not? And Sagittarius will show you how to do that. So these are important. Also, what you should pay attention to is, like, for example, at your other signs, like, where is your Mars? If your Mars is, like, let's say in Aries, Aries will show you how to act because Mars corresponds for the actions. If your Venus shows your femininity, your love language, those people will show you that, and all the planets, you can go through all the planets that will and you will learn from the people who have sun in those placements where your planets are. You will learn how to act. So for example, if your Mercury is in Virgo, then Virgo sun is going to show you how to communicate. You know, how they are very, very careful with their conversation. They are not offending anybody. They're very diplomatic when they speak. So this would help you if you are like absolutely clueless and don't know how to socialize. So observe that. Observe. This is it's somewhat important. All right. I think that's it. Let me just go over it. People remember that people are helping you always. Yeah, I think that's it. People are always helping you. Do not snob them. If somebody's in your life, there is a reason. Like that girl that I came for the manicure, you know, my friend. It was a reason why I chose her. You know, there were others, but I chose her, and we kind of connected. And you see what happened. I mean, everything and everybody I know, I somehow know through her. There was just a reason why, because I just moved to this new I just moved to Miami, and you know, I needed connections. When I came back and I moved to this apartment, there was a woman. She was very strange. She met me in the lobby. I don't know, like I was over there collecting, you know, my cards and everything, and she just insisted to helping me to unload my car and you know, this and that. And I was like, I think she was Virgo. I'm pretty sure, but I just arrived, you know, I wanted to settle down. I was not into socializing, and I think maybe she felt like I snubbed her a little bit, and I never saw her again. I don't know, she moved out or she just disappeared from my life, but this is what it is. So again, observe. People are coming into your life for a reason. Observe them. They are helping you for a reason. All right. Now, let me answer quickly questions. So last time I spoke about how to build a relationship with a man. Again, I got a few questions. I want to answer them really fast. All right. So I told you last time that intimacy doesn't really reflect how, you know, a man will think about you. It's how you act after intimacy that will reflect. So the question was, don't I? So I'm not going to read the whole question. I will just brief. Don't I exchange energy with a man? Yes, you do exchange, but you're powerful enough to disassociate, take your energy back, and move on. You know, to tell you the truth, I don't want to sound bad, but I am that powerful that I can socialize with the person, be intimate, leave his apartment, and never think about him again. Like to this point, you know, it's up to you how you're going to react. You do exchange energy. This is true, and you might be stuck for years and years supporting him with your energy, but it's again up to you, you know. All right. The second question is something like, wouldn't a man take me for granted if I will become intimate right away? No, he will not take you for granted if you will keep your value up. So just because so for example, you slept with the guy and he from now on doesn't want to do nothing. He's like, oh, come on, why don't you come over, we will order something, we will watch TV, you know, this and that. You tell him at that moment, instead of running and ordering and sitting with him in front of the TV and being angry, you tell him, listen, I'm not really a homebody. I'm going to go with my friends. Let me know when you're ready to do something like this. You see, a man will never take you for granted if you will not allow him to take you for granted. It doesn't work like that. You are an energetic driver and a man will follow your lead, you know. Now, some women, once they become intimate, they believe they need to please a man and do everything he says. So they agree to this, you know, Netflix and chill, stand at home, or I'm too lazy to drive to you. Why don't you drive to me? I mean, who asked you to do this? Just because you were intimate with him doesn't mean you need to now lower your life completely. You know, a man will do what you ask him to do. So tell him, no, I'm not going to come, and you know, and don't feel like you're losing. You're not losing, even if you lose. Why would you need this kind of loser? So a man will not take you for granted if you will not take yourself for granted. Okay. Da, da, da. So I mentioned also something about the energy. That no matter how you act, you can act all not interested. You're not texting him. You're not calling him. You're like all this kind of busy bee. But inside, you're thinking about him all the time, and it will be the same as begging him on your knees, right? I told this in in the last time. And so somebody asked me, how will a man know my energy? A man will not know what you're thinking or what you're doing. But a man will feel something. So he will feel like he doesn't want to talk to you, and he wouldn't even know why is it happening. He will be like, I have no clue. Like he would, like sometimes you think about somebody and you despise that person and you don't understand why. Like you think the person is good. Why am I having this heavy feelings towards that person? Like sometimes I have a neighbor here, no, not a neighbor, somebody who lives in this building. I don't know. I always, when I see that person, I just, like, I have this unexplained, I wouldn't say hate to him, but I don't dislike, absolute dislike. And I know what I'm disliking. I never spoke to the guy once, but he tries. So he's a people's pleaser, So he always tries to get on your good side, trying to be next to like, and I don't like that. But you see, I really don't know what is inside of him, but I feel this displeasure every time I see him, close by. It's not like I'm thinking about him, but as soon as he's in my, as soon as I see him, I feel like there's no butterflies when I see this person. It's weird. So the same with man. A man thinks about you and he's like, well, she's good, but why don't I want to hang out with her? Why don't I want to take her out? Why don't I want to buy her something? He doesn't know it himself because, but the energy will make him act particular way. So, and he will not be able to explain himself. You will write him and you will be like, don't you miss me? And he's like, yes, I miss you. But he will say it automatically. Inside, he'll be like, I don't understand why I don't miss her, like this. So you might fool somebody, but you will never fool with your energy. There's just no way. Instead of you trying to fool a man, better work hard on changing energy and changing how you occupy your time. Instead of sitting and waiting for a guy's call or guy's text message, or thinking what a not nice person he is. He's ignoring me, or he's not doing nothing. Do not waste energy on that. Instead, use the energy on bettering your life, so he will want to be in your life. He will want, and he will not know why he wants to be in your life. He will be like drawn to you, and he couldn't explain that. Instead of him trying to explain why he doesn't want to be drawn, and that. All right. There was also one more question about, and so I wanted to bring you an example. So the question was something about, so I had a conversation with the person who asked this question. Something like, if a man will put a lot of effort on winning you over, why would he brush you off later on? I will tell you, because men are ego-driven. So I have this admirer for maybe 3-4 years now. He used to live in Miami, and he was very much impressed by me. And he really put effort into winning me over. But he had to move. He lives in Colorado, California. I don't know where he lives. And the guy moves around a lot. He had to move. And I knew, he's moving. And plus, I was going to go traveling. So I knew, it probably won't get nothing serious. Plus, he was not yet on the level of being able to afford the relationships, So I told him that probably there won't be nothing, but like I enjoyed his company, he enjoyed my company, so everything was good. Anyway, so he moved, but he's still in my life. Sometimes he keeps his hand on my pulse to make sure everything is there. So he watches my stories, he writes something sweet, this and that. Anyways, a few years passed by, and I was coming back here, and I was in Mexico, and I wrote to him that I'm coming back, so we're cool, absolutely cool. And I told him, why don't I come and I live with you? Because he's always telling me the stories, we could have had children already, we're so suited for each other, like love bombing me constantly for years. These are years, right? And so I wrote to him. I was not going to, because I knew that I was coming to Miami. I already had an apartment lined up, and plus I had some plans. But I wrote to him. I wanted to see what he will say. And you know what he said? He said, it's too late. You should have agreed to this earlier. Just imagine, I'm just thinking how long he waited for to kind of uh, not like to put me down a little bit, because he thinks I'm such a snob. So he had an idea to put me down. I was laughing because I expected it somewhat, let him feed his ego. Funny thing is that he till now continues watching my stories, till now writes me sweet stuff, and I'm just not answering. But this is what men do. They might be on you for years and years just to prove that they can win you over, and that they can. And as soon as they have a chance, like they will be waiting to show you that they're not interested. It's like they need to have the last one after them. It was funny for me. I was laughing. So my energy was not. He probably didn't have that much satisfaction because my energy was not. If I would get upset, if I would start arguing with him, and if I would be angry, if I would say, "Oh my God, and why were you telling me all this?" Then maybe he will have the satisfaction. He didn't have the satisfaction because honestly, all I did was just I started to laugh, and it was not like a phone conversation, so he couldn't hear that I was laughing, but that was it. So I want you to understand, a man masculinity is driven by ego, and if they have nothing else to occupy themselves with, or if they need to prove something, they will spend a lot of time and resources to conquer you and to dump you, just so they just so they feel accomplished. It's not healthy. I wouldn't say that it's healthy, but I saw this happening in my life. Didn't I mean, because this guy, we were not dating, like we never really were intimate. Just an admirer, but still it didn't hurt me. If it would hurt me, he would get the satisfaction, you see, but he didn't, so he didn't. But I want to say, can you imagine you're dating somebody, you don't really that happened to my friend. She was dating somebody, he was trying to win her over 5 years, 5 years, just imagine that. And after 5 years he left her, and she told me the most, like, what upset it, what hurt her the most was that she never really wanted him. So who is he to leave her? But as soon as she warmed up, he knew that she's interested. Now he left her. So again, be careful with men. Like I told you last time, with men who are trying to win you over just because, like you are not showing any interest, and he's just pushing, pushing, pushing. He will take his revenge at one point. I knew that this guy, my admirer, he was waiting for this moment. I just didn't know when it will happen, but I knew he was waiting. Unlucky for him and lucky for me, I was not interested to react. But there are women who are getting interested, and then they get hurt. All right, and I think something else. Oh, so something I was also have a conversation about. So when you become intimate with the man, you give him energy, and he uses that energy for the next few days to kind of to live, to do something with that energy. So you could not expect him to be to answer you right away. It's not that he's not respecting you, that he pulls away. It's because he has the energy. He's no need of you as of this moment. So give him a little time, and he will come back. Women start reacting because they are afraid that the man is losing interest. He's not losing interest, and he's not disrespecting you. He's just not needing you at this moment. He will start needing you, and when he will start needing you, then you can ask him for something. So he will kind of be more consistent in the next future. But remember, it takes time for a man to get used to get like attached to a woman. It's much slower process than for a woman. So just because you're intimate doesn't mean that he is now all yours, that he's all interested in you. Give him time. All right, I think that's it. I hope I answered all the questions, at least all the ones that you asked. Yeah. So if you didn't watch that video, please do watch it. It was from last week. I was explaining how intimacy influences us or not. But as of today, so look, I did perfect timing. So, but as of for today's video, it's also very important. I would rather you focus more on yourself and how to develop yourself than focusing on Um, uh, it's a very interesting dialogue. I want to know everything about myself. Yes, it is. So I would rather you focus on how to develop yourself than how to impress a man, how to hold a man in your life. Because when you are developing yourself, all the sides of you, remember there is 12 houses, so 12 kind of aspects of your life needs to be developed. If you will learn how to develop yourself, if you will develop yourself, any man will want to be with you. You are becoming an interesting person. You are not dependent on him. You are living your own life, and whether you want it or not, he will want to be with you, he will want to follow you, he will want to be in your presence. This is much more important than when should I be intimate with the guy. I mean, that's also important, especially if you question yourself, but that does not affect how he thinks about you. What you're doing is affects more. How you live your life affects more. Now, sometimes you might grow faster than the man you're with, and then the man will fall off. I mean, this is just happens. You don't need to hold on to a man. It happened in my life quite a few times when I was dating somebody, but I was actively developing myself, and just at one point I realized, that I'm just holding on to a habit, not to a man. I'm not even not admiring him as I was admiring. So it's okay also. I mean, man comes and can go. Sometimes they can stay forever, sometimes not. I mean, it just happens. But focus more on what you do than what than how to keep a man in your life. Man, they will always stay. If they're meant to stay, they will stay. All right. That's it. I think so. Again, observe, watch people. So right now, what would be good right now? Sit and see, and just maybe make a list of all the people that you have around you. Especially observe your siblings, cousins, best friends. These are people that are for a reason in your life. If they're in your life for a long time, then they're teaching you something, showing you something. Like I have a sister, she's Pisces, and I have a brother who is Scorpio. Me and my brother will always have a good time, and we'll have a good time. When we don't have a good time, we'll fight. Now my sister is Pisces again. We travel together a lot. You see, so ideal. I mean, people that are in your life like all the time, your children also, your partners, obviously, the colleagues that you're the closest to. These are the people that will show you that are teaching you. These are the areas that you need to learn. So pay attention to this, to people who are the closest for you right now. This is exactly what you need to learn, what you're missing. Also, sometimes we need people particular energy. Like for example, that lady that helped me with all my connections, with all the referrals, she also was energy of earth. When I moved here to Miami, I was unshaken. A new city, new people, everything new. There was nothing that I knew here because I never lived in Miami before. I used to live in Clearwater. So she gave me the security that I needed, that strength. Now, on the other hand, maybe I gave her what she needed, the pleasure, how to enjoy, how not only to calculate everything, but enjoy your time here in Miami. And I think she really needed me because we were hanging out almost all the time, and she really enjoyed my company, I assume. Now, if you have a lot of people energy of fire, then you need people who are doing actions. So you need them because you are not doing actions, but you do want, you just don't know how to push yourself to do them. So those people will teach you how to do that. Or if you have a lot of people energy of air, maybe you're ready for something new. I remember at one point I was only surrounded by people energy of air, and I'm like, why? I mean, this is the energy I don't have, so I'm not really easily connected to them. But I knew why, because I was ready for something bigger, and I didn't know how to, like, I didn't know where even to look. And they helped me. They gave me ideas. Socializing with them gave me ideas, and I started opening myself to new opportunities and to new actions. So again, observe the people. So right now, what would be good if you would write down all the people that are in your life right now, the closest friends, the closest connections. If you never socialize with your siblings, or well, you should write them down because there is a reason why. But like your cousins, I have a lot of cousins. I do talk to them once in a while, but not as close. I have friends that are closer than my cousins. So write down the people who are closest, colleagues, I don't know, maybe neighbors that you socialize all the time, and see where the sun is. This is very easy even to ask. You can ask when's your birthday, and they will tell. They will be teaching you something. So if you don't know how to build a career, the 10th house, find who has sun in 10th house and just talk to that person. Just talk about nothing. You will see they will show you some kind of way. If it's money, people from the 2nd and 8th house, they will show you how to get money into your life. If it's relationships, 1st, 5th, and 7th house, these are the people who will help you with the relationship. The 5th house, how to flirt, how to enjoy yourself. The 1st house, how to build a relationship with yourself, and the 7th house, how to build a relationship, deep ones. If you want to be a public person, a blogger, then 11th house will show you how to present yourself. The 3rd house, how to communicate with. The 3rd house will probably find you that crowd, that public, and if you don't know how to build your routine, then it's the 6th house. If you want to learn how to travel, if you want to have particular traveling style, then the 9th house, or how to study, or even maybe a mentor from the 9th house would be also good on something deep, like this, the 4th house is, they will teach you how to. Also I wanted to tell you, so I have a client. She's a real estate agent. And I always knew that when I'm ready to buy something, when I'm ready to buy a condo or a house here, she will be the one who will buy me. And I never understood why, because I have friends who have real estate licenses. I have people who are closer to me who are real estate agents, but I always knew that she will be the one who will buy me a house. I don't know, until I start observing people around me, and she is Libra. You see, I don't know. I just love how she works. I love how knowledgeable she is, and I think that's why I was always thinking like this. It's not, she's pretty experienced, and she just has this kind of good eye for things. Again, we're not that close. She's just my client here and there, But I always knew that she was. So again, people that have sun in the 4th house, they are your route to a house, to to building a home. Who knows, maybe once I will buy the house, I will hire a decorator who will be also Libra, so like this. And the 12th house is the house of your psychic. Maybe those people will be able to bring you to something deeper inside of you. And that's it. All right, I hope it was useful. Let me know if you have any questions. Observe people around you. There is a reason why they're there. Even those that you do not agree, there is a reason why they're there. Like me and Aries, me and Aquariuses, like those people, I'm always very cautious around them. But they were the ones that really, when I was preparing for this, I was analyzing all my colleagues. I worked in finances. There were a lot of Arieses, These people are like sharks. And I'm like, why? Why I was not observing them earlier? If only eventually I did. I became like them. You never become completely like that person, obviously, because I don't have that much Aries energy or fire energy for that. But only when I became more focused on myself, on doing my job, only then I became really successful, like promoted a few times, and not really that miserable at work. So again, but if I would not be fighting, if I had the knowledge that I have now, and I wouldn't be fighting them, I would be just observing every single Aries around me and just repeating what they're doing. I would be successful much faster. So this is it's important. Again, if I would be observing Capricorns when I was like obsessed with relationships, maybe I would be seriously married for many years now, because I would know that this is how I'm supposed to build a relationship, not the way I was building it that time, all emotional, all over the place. You love me, you don't love me, this and that. So it's important. There is a reason why people are in our lives, use them. They let others use too. So like me, I'm a Scorpio sun, maybe I'm useful to others. You know, like a lot of people tell me, you inspire me on your relationship, or you inspire me on how you look, or you inspire me on how you present yourself. You see, different people tell me different things because, again, maybe hitting different houses in their natal chart. So use people, it's okay, they don't they wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind. It's absolutely normal. All right, that's it. Thank you, TikTok, for being here. If you have questions, let me just quickly scroll. Only compliments here, which is good too. Those freckles are like extra sprinkles added to you, blah blah. Okay. Okay. All right. Bye, TikTok. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week at 11 a.m. And by YouTube, thank you for being here, my lovely ladies. Venus is moving to Taurus tomorrow. Time to, Venus feels very comfortable in Taurus. This is one of her homes. So, time to spoil yourself, time to enjoy yourself. You know, right now Venus is in Aries, not a comfortable position because Aries is very fiery, very fighting like, you know, very active, and Mars is in Pisces, well, weak position for it. So right now it will change. Women will be more focused on their comfort, on beauty, and men, and once Mars moves to Aries, you know, man will be more, well, it's not now, it's still in April, like in a week. Men will be more focused on actions, women focused on beauty, men focused on action. So it would be a good time to start dating somebody. The dynamic will be very natural, very as it should be. But for us ladies, I mean, it's a very good sign. Venus in Taurus, that means that we can make money. Venus in Taurus is likes wealth, gets money easy, and overall, it's a good time. So enjoy it. Don't be afraid to splurge on yourself. Just watch for the food because Venus and Taurus can gain a little bit because likes to eat in there. So for the next 3 weeks, make sure the summer is coming. Watch your diet a little bit. All right, that's it. Bye, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday. I will see you next Sunday at 11 a.m. How do I finish our days?